Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I join the rest of the members to support the motion and condolence to the family and the entire country. Right Honourable and Honourable members, I knew Honourable Sam Engola as Machudong. Charles Engola, sorry, as Machudong.
Honourable Sam, you're still alive. You know, in our culture, when they say you've died, that's when you live longer.
Sorry. I knew him as Machudong, but I did not know the meaning of Machudong. Even the president, Majudogo. Even the president in cabinet was calling him Majudogo. So when I learned the meaning, I remembered the time I went to Oyam with Honorable Ben Wacha when I was still in the other side of the media fraternity. And we moved in the villages of Oyam. And indeed, the saucepans, the kitchens had gone silent. People had deserted their families, homes, and they were staying in IDP camps. And when I went back to do the post-war recovery series, I found when the people had come back to their homes and they were indeed cooking. So I came to learn that he was, the reason why they gave him that name was the fire had returned back to the kitchens in that very region. Defended his people. So when I became a member of parliament, Honorable Machudog looked for me. As you are aware, Right Honorable Speaker, many Ugandans fell in love with me from their TV stations in their sitting rooms. And Honorable Machudong, I came to learn, was one of those who fell in love with me on his TV set in his sitting room. And when he met me when I was member of parliament, he declared his love for me and said, Nandutu Agnes, don't misquote the love. He declared his love for me and said, me and my family loved you when you are on TV, and from today, you are my friend. And we indeed became friends. This soldier who is lying before us here was really a lover man. He was a good man. Right Honorable Speaker,
Honourable members, listen to the lover woman.
Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, I did not know that Honorable Engola really watched me while in cabinet. One time, he called me when he was in parliament here and said, Nandutu, I want to see you. And we met in parliament at the stairs, and he gave me a watch. Listen. And when I asked him, he told me that I'm giving you a watch because I have seen you on several occasions in a cabinet when you are asking for what time it is from honorable colleagues. So I have given you this watch for you to keep time. The soldier who is lying before us here, Right Honorable Speaker, was a gifter. And when I shared with one of the colleagues, he also told me that Honorable Engola also bought for me a watch. So he was a gifter. It is rare to find a soldier gifting, but he was a gifter.
No, most soldiers gift. No. Soldiers are very calm people, they gift. You see,
I withdraw.
Charity brought me a perfume.
I withdraw, Right Honorable Speaker. So, we really condole with the family. Like others have said, he's a person who had fought wars, but he had never gone on TV stations and radio stations to declare himself how he has fought. He was really as a humble soldier. We condole with the family, be firm, and we pray to God that he's granted eternal peace.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Thank you.
I'll speak mostly to his lighter side, and the recent ones being work-related, where I was tasked with him and the Honorable Bright here to go and handle the Balalo thing in the north. And in one of the engagements with the population, he was always our bridgehead. We had the Balalo and then the people of the area. They looked at the Balalo, they looked at us, and they started grumbling. I remember we asked him, what is it? He said they think you are like those people. So, but thanks to his diplomatic credentials, he calmed them down, and we had a very good interaction. So that was his other side of being a peacemaker, and I salute him for that. I also had the privilege later of being hosted by him and his wife at his home in Oyam, where he told me about his childhood, how he survived Idi Amin with his father. Quite telling and deep engagement we had with the late Charles Okello Engola. On the comments by colleagues and my dear friend Lop, I want to share the sentiments of General Mujira. Can we, for now, avoid to speculate until we conclude investigations?
Thank you.
And I want also to allay the fears of the House about the measures outlined by the President, including CCTV, including fingerprinting of guns. There's been impact, and we shall account to this House, and don't despair. Actually want more support to do phase 3 of the CCTV to cover the gaps of phase 1 and phase 2. Last, life is invaluable, even more so of such an exceptional human being as Charles, and there's no excuse whatsoever for taking life unlawfully. That is the reason why I think Sabiti knew what would befall him, and he had to take his life. The discipline of the UPDF is known and tested. May the soul of Charles rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Internal Affairs. That is, if Savit was still in his normal senses at that time. And based on what has been said, we'll need an account of the cameras.
I want to say a few things. One is that Charles Engola put his life between the enemy and the community. And unfortunately, he has died a very criminal, brutal death at the hands of a rogue bodyguard. I want to join the others who condemned some of the utterances, especially celebrating criminal acts. As citizens of this country, we should condemn criminal acts across the border, and we should really put sanity in our politics, in our social media and print media. I would like to use this opportunity to implore you colleagues that Army, UPDF, especially the history of NRM, we actually select people to join the Army based on discipline from the rural villages. I would like to encourage you not to interfere with recruitment of the Army. Let the Army do its own thing. The Army is not a rehabilitation center. When we go to LCs, to the village, recommend the people who are upright, so that we avoid scenarios of ruthless characters. So to me, this is the first history in our history and should be condemned. Lastly, I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for providing the opportunity. I want to thank you, Prime Minister, for moving the motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to join the colleagues to support this motion to pay a tribute to our gallant son who's lying before us here. Right Honorable Speaker, if you experienced what we went through because of the war in northern Uganda, when you talk about what this gentleman who has lied here did to pacify northern Uganda, you cannot just say it lightly. Unless you had it as a history, you can just talk about it like reading a book that talked about it, maybe one of those former leaders. But if you were there when we were crucified, when our ears are cut, when the roads are blocked, when our people could not reach Kampala, when we could take 1 full week to come from West Nile to Kampala, it is saddened that we have lost one of those who have sacrificed to create a peace in that region. But today is here. Right Honorable Speaker, as anxious as I was when I saw my name on a camera that I have been appointed a state minister, defense in charge of veteran affairs, I was so anxious that I had to look around because I don't have any background of being a military and that I was in the Ministry of Defense. So my first thinking was, who were the ministers who were in that office that I had to look for? Honorable Minister, I looked for Charles. I looked for the minister I replaced. Then I even looked for our former clerk. I wanted them to take me through and tell me how they were doing it there. Charles told me, where you are, it is formalized. It is the best place that you are going to enjoy. Just respect yourself, follow the rules, you will not get any problem. That is what he told me. 2 weeks ago here, Right Honorable Speaker, because of the challenges of the raiders we are facing in Karamoja sub-region, one of the MPs of Otuku stood up here and he said she told us that I wish still Charles was the minister in defense. Because when he was there, he did not suffer the way they are suffering with these Karamajongs. So I stood here, I said, kindly, my sister, we shall also do exactly the way Charles was doing. After committing myself that we are going to go to Otuke with you, I had to go and look for Charles. I said, Charles, you created a shoes that we are failing to put our legs on. Therefore, I have promised my colleagues that I'm going to go to Otuke, but I will not go there alone. I am waiting for you. Give me a day, then we go together, so that I will learn from you how you were doing it. And he promised me that, my sister, we are going to go together. That is my area of profession. But before we do that, today is here. Very unfortunate and saddened. Right Honorable Speaker, I felt so bad, and I asked so many questions. One, a senior soldier, why did he decide to open the door towards where the gun was coming from? Why didn't he use the other? Hide himself first, then plan to see who the enemy is. I have so many questions that I cannot answer. And he's not there not to answer any of them. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you so much. God's timing is never. I was